Hello, my lovely. You didn't get to where you are in your business by doing shit the way that everybody else does. And you know that what got you to where you are now is not going to get you to where you want to be. And if you are listening to this podcast, it's because you want to be the go to for what you do better than anyone else. Your brilliance is the niche. Being you, that bold, unfuckwithable presence that you've secretly been craving to set free, she is in there. And that means you will have to burn some old bridges down. And attracting your people will also repel those who are not for you. Fucking hooray. Becoming a force of nature business and brand means no more Miss People Pleaser, no more hiding your turbo brain, no more dimming down jack shit. And if you have ever been told to tone it down as a woman with ADHD, it's time to tone your shit all the way the fuck back up. That is how you create unstoppable momentum in your business and visibility that is something you've been avoiding, but that you truly want. This podcast is about stepping into your upgrade, watering down anything, never change the fucking world. You were not born to be forgettable. And as one of my all time favorite quotes says, well behaved women rarely make history, and nothing about you or me is well behaved, at least not anymore. In today's episode, I had a coffee chat with my friend Abby, who owns Illuminescence Creations, and she's a brand and website specialist. But this is no ordinary fucking coffee chat. A little backstory: she invited me onto her podcast, The Unfiltered CEO, and our discussion was so freaking good that it's her highest downloaded episode to date. And I know exactly why, because when two confident women like us who see the importance of being all of you and bringing that into your brand have a discussion like this after not always being confident and not always showing up the way we do now, that isn't something you just hear. It's something that you feel. And so today, this is a slightly longer episode than normal, but I make you a massive promise that what you are listening to, you're going to want to hear it all the way through. We're going to talk about why putting exactly who you are, and I mean like all your magical unicorn greatness into your business and your brand, is one of the massive keys to your dreamiest clients seeing you and knowing that you are the one. And if you aren't quite sure who you are right now, which I have talked about this a few times lately, and if that is you, this is an episode that will shake your shit up in the best way possible and make you never want to hide behind a mask in your business ever again. So, from one force of nature to another, turn the volume up to an 11 and let's get feral as fuck. Welcome back to the ADHD Entrepreneu, the podcast for feral AF ADHD women in business who refuse to play by the fucking rules. My name is Carrie. I am your host. I am the chief weirdo of Carrie Out Loud. That is my brand. And if you are new here, welcome. I am really glad you found the podcast. If I could ask you a massive favor, it's not actually that massive. If this episode has an impact you or helps you in any way, could you please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you can be reminded to come back every Wednesday? But more importantly, leave a 5-star rating and a review of the episode you listen to, because what that does is it pushes it into the algorithm and shoves it out to other women just like you and I who really need to find this podcast. And next, since I understand your ADHD, both professionally and personally, each episode has this business expertise, my business expertise, filtered through the lens of having the feral funhouse of a brain known as ADHD, late diagnosed or undiagnosed, but you might think you have it. All are welcome here. My approach is all about focusing on the upsides of our beautiful Technicolor brains and our advantages while also acknowledging that the hard parts are there and they're very real, but they're manageable. And if that is not your jam, I might not be your jam, but if it is, please stick around. So let's get into my coffee chat with Abby. Here we go. I'm really freaking excited because I was on this Lovely Humans podcast, and I'll have her tell you the name of it and everything as well, so you can find hers. But I wanted to bring her here because what she does, she is really incredible at it. This is my friend Abby Bradetich, and she is going to welcome. First of all, welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
You're
I'm
welcome.
excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited because the topic we talked about on your podcast, we're going to bring it over here, and it's one of my favorite conversations to have. But I want to start off our coffee talk with you giving a little bit of your origin story. So tell the people about how you started your business, what inspired you to start it, whatever you want to tell about the beginnings of your business and where you are now.
Yeah. So I started my business 3.5 years ago now, at the end of 2021. So like very COVID times.
Same.
And during COVID, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people kind of did because it's like,
well, I
you
had
really were
started
like,
mine. Yeah, I had started mine before, but I really decided that like I had been kind of weaving and figuring it out. And then I was like, you know what? I really know this is what I want to do. In January 2021 was when I did like my first coaching cohort when I was a member
amazing.
of. So yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, back to you.
Yeah.
This isn't about me, Abby. Back to you, friend.
But yeah, so before then, I've always done design and marketing work ever since like college. I started actually with that work on the yearbook in high school and college. I was editor in chief. Like I gained a lot of experience that way.
That's
and
awesome.
A lot of those skills I use in my business, like especially when I had a team. And so that was where I got that. And I always did that work after college, like for different small businesses. And then I started just like slowly growing freelance clients because, you know, people are naturally like, oh, you do this, I need some help with it. And I was doing that alongside a service industry job when COVID hit because I was like, I have to get the fuck out of the house. And I was just like, I can't be on my computer all day. I needed both. And so I was doing service industry, and then I was let go of that. And once, you know, things kind of settled down after 2020, I was like applying to so many jobs. I applied to probably over 100 jobs and was more than qualified. Like knew I could do it, but then you get, you know, like 2 interviews and you never hear back from most of them. And it was just so demoralizing. And my fiance now, my boyfriend at the time, was like, well, you have these freelance clients, like you're good at what you do. Why don't you just like turn it into a real thing? And so it took me longer than I wanted it, like than it should have, to just like take the leap. But I finally did it in December of 2021 and never looked back. It, you know, it's always a roller coaster to own a business, but it's the best thing I've ever done. And yeah, could never even dream of doing anything else.
Will say, yeah, exactly. Isn't it funny that we all will say it is a roller coaster ride and I would never do anything else? It's true. It's so fucking true. I talk about this all the time. It's like, choose your shit sandwich.
Yeah.
I read this article one time, and the title of it was one of the best things I've ever read. It said, what kind of shit sandwich would you rather eat? And what that meant was sometimes, no matter what you do, you're going to have a shit sandwich day. You're going to have a day where you're just going to eat shit and, you know, but which kind would you prefer? Being in an office or sitting at a desk for somebody else 40 hours a week, getting paid, quote unquote, by the hour, as if our hour is our dollar worth, our
literally
dollar value is an hourly thing, whatever. That whole thing is just a bunch of bullshit. But anyway, but yeah, no, I very early in to my own life was like, what is this? Like, I would go to desk jobs and then I would leave and start a business because I was like, nope. And there's some of us with these brains who are just like, this ain't it. There has to be a different way.
Absolutely.
And of course there is a different way.
Yeah. It's just a different kind of hard. But no, I always knew I wasn't made for a 9-to-5. I've told people that my entire life. Like it wasn't even like just whenever I started my business, because I got my degree in modern dance and I danced professionally after college, which was partially why I couldn't have a 9 to 5 because
Sure. Of
I had
course.
to have a flexible schedule and
right.
work
As a
and
creative. Sure.
yeah. So I've always like been in the creative world in a bunch of different ways, but knew that
Yeah.
dance wouldn't pay the bills. So that's why graphic design and marketing and all of, web design, all that stuff like started just building up more and more. And I love it. Like I knew I needed to be in a creative field, but yeah, the closest I got to a 9 to 5 was working at Duke University when I moved to North Carolina, and I only worked part-time. So I was only there in the afternoons, and I still was like, yeah, I can't fucking do this. No.
Oh
In
my
like
God.
this quiet little
Yeah.
cubicle by myself. No, that's not for me.
As the statement is, that ain't it.
Literally.
That ain't it. That ain't it.
No, thank you.
Yeah, it's funny because every time I would get a desk job, I would be there for a little while and I kept getting laid off. That was kind of like my origin story, was that I would start. I had my first business, 6 figures, organically, before the interwebs was like was a place to do business. Back when you had flip phones and Thomas guides, I was a realtor. I had a real estate practice, and I worked myself into the ground and it burned it down because I was in massive burnout, but I didn't know why. Well, I was doing more than anyway, you know the whole story. So I went back, then I went to a desk job, right? And, I kept going back to these desk jobs and then getting laid off. And finally, the final time was in 2019. And I'm like, fuck this. People say job security this and get a desk job that. And I'm like, nothing is secure. So you may as well do your own fucking thing.
Literally.
And create your own security or create your own path. And they're like, well, what about insurance? And what about this? It's like, well, we can get that, it's not like it's not available. It's just that it's different. But there are people who need both feet on the ground and they need absolute security. And then there's our feral asses where we're like, well, it'll just work out.
Yeah.
And what's funny is
figure it out.
Well, that's just it, is that we can figure it out.
Absolutely.
Not everybody wants to use the brain power or the critical thinking or the strategy to figure shit out.
Literally.
We love it. We thrive on it. We see a problem where others see a wall. We see 10 solutions. You know what I'm saying? That's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
and we're excited to figure that out. Like, I love that. And that I used to, I've always been the person that everybody like comes to because they like want to, like, they're like, do you know how to do this? And I'm like, no, but I can learn it for you.
You're like, I can learn and I'll teach it to 100 people tomorrow. Yes. Like, that's just seriously, it's so true. It's so true. So in your business, you tell the people what you do. We've gotten this far without really telling everybody what you do. You're a brand and web designer and a content coach. So talk a little bit more about that. That's your current business. What's the name of tell everybody the name of your business and why you love doing these things, especially the content coaching.
Yeah, my business is Illuminescence Creations. And like, I really focus mostly on like online presence as a whole, which covers both brand and web design and then also social media and making sure that those both parts really connect and actually express the same type of person and energy and vibe because that's a big deal for people. Like if they're on your social media and get one feel and go to your website and it's totally different, it's super confusing for potential clients to make that decision. And what I'm most passionate about is I work only with women-owned businesses because I really am about empowering women to show up as their boldest, most authentic self and also finding a way to do it that feels good to them while also making it work. I don't subscribe to like you have to do, 5 posts a week bullshit, or you have to follow these content pillars or anything like that. Like I want my clients to feel like they're the strategy and they're leading what they're creating and not like following something else. And so that's also why, like content coaching is something I'm so passionate about. And because I've struggled with it. And I know every business owner has like gone through periods of just fucking hating it and not ever wanting to show up online ever again. And you have to like get past that. And I think the hardest part is because I used to offer social media management and I don't anymore because it was like sucking my soul and I kind of fucking hated it.
Yeah,
and like I was good at it.
We should get
but I
paid to
would.
do what we love, not
Yes.
get paid to do something just because we can. And a
Yeah,
lot
and
of
you're
us,
good at
because
it.
we can
Yeah.
do so many things and we can be good at those things, it's hard for us to go, okay, it's just this is the one thing I'm going to do. But if you have one thing you're going to do that encompasses your ethos or your what you love doing the most, and other elements of the things are going to come in that naturally. Like
Yeah.
that's just how it's going to be. But you kind of put yourself under that umbrella of brand and web design plus content coaching. But content coaching is brand design. It
Yeah.
is that, So how do you, because there's so many different ways, just getting cat, right? There's so many different ways to do this shit. So
Yeah.
when it comes to helping your people with content, because let's talk about this one, because this is one that I teach a bunch of different ways and really focus on conversion. When I mean conversion, I mean having people talk to you in your DMs. It isn't
Mm.
the sales conversion necessarily, because that just is part of what you do. But
Yeah.
it's like the conversations, like meeting the people, networking, and finding your business friends and finding your clients. Like it's all encompassed in there.
Mhm.
So when you say you teach people how to bring themselves and their personality, I can't even speak today, their personality in it, and still have some strategy behind it.
Mhm.
Tell me about what that looks like, because I think that
Yeah.
could be helpful for people listening that, maybe the way I do it or way somebody else is teaching it ain't it, but maybe Abby, you've got that special thing they need. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, yeah. So with everyone that I work with, I always start with like, what do you want to be known for in the online
Yes.
space? It's such an important question, and not enough people ask that. And
Yep.
when you have a bunch of different offers, or you want to include both your lifestyle and your business and your content, like, and you feel like it's hodgepodge, it's because you don't have a central message that
That's
you're
right.
aligning everything under. And so that's like really important to identify.
Yes.
And most people skip that step. They go straight to like content pillars, or,
Yep.
I'm going to post a reel 2 times a week, a post for like
Right.
whatever. Like
Right.
that sort of shit doesn't matter as much
No,
as
it
like
doesn't. It
what you're
really
actually
doesn't.
here for. Like, and
Yes.
it's not, like the bullshit answers of like, oh, I'm here to grow my audience and make money or
Right.
whatever. Like, no, like what feeds your soul? Like, what do you actually like if somebody leaves the
Right.
room? Like, if you leave the room, like, what do you want people to like say about you? Like, what
Right.
is the one? And I try to get people to like distill it down to one, because it can't,
Right.
like, obviously there's lots of things you want to be doing, but like, I want people to know that I am the person who helps you show up as your boldest, most authentic self online. Like
Right.
that's mine. And that sort of thing, like that umbrella covers all of the things I'm passionate about. It covers content, it covers brand, it covers web, it covers
Yep.
mindset and embodiment, because those are things that I incorporate into like the work
Yep.
that I do as well, because
Mm-hmm.
that's a big piece of my journey. And I think it's one of the most important pieces that also
Mm-hmm.
doesn't go
Right.
touched very often.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's like where I start with all of my clients, because usually
It's
that in
amazing.
itself gives clarity for people
Yes.
that they probably didn't have before. And
Mm-hmm.
then I like to have people, like figure out, okay, what am I promoting this month? Like, what services do I want to be feeding people into, and figuring out the topics that go underneath there. And like, of course,
Mm-hmm.
brain dumping is a great thing to do. And then just like organizing it, and
Mm-hmm.
under, then we can kind of get into content pillars that feel good to
Or
you. Like,
yeah, I call them buckets. Like, what are
yeah,
your
buckets.
buckets? Like,
Exactly.
same difference. But it's so funny what you just said, because in my anti-framework playbook, which is like my framework, that's not a framework, because with
Yeah.
ADHD brains, it's like, don't put me in a fucking box, right? But I
Yeah.
also want to teach them certain underlying principles about business. So how the fuck do you do that? So in the anti-framework playbook, the literal thing I said, Abby, which it made me why you saw me laugh when you said umbrella, is I call it the messaging umbrella.
Yeah.
And what I do is I talk about the example of Nike. When you see the swish and you hear the words, just do it, I don't even need to tell you it's fucking Nike. You know,
Literally.
if I say think different, or I show you that little Apple symbol, it's Apple. But here's the thing, it's simple. Think
Yeah.
different, for example, is about being a member of having an apple. my messages are green, not blue, or blue, not green, whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? And I'm one of many, but they also talk about your individuality. How your screen is set up is different from every other person with an Apple, right? So what I teach my clients, and I love that you do this, Abby, because when you said that, I'm like, more people need to be teaching this because I have specialized in ADHD humans.
Mm-hmm.
We are multi-passionate, and there are a lot of things that go into the things we do. However, we often have an umbrella of
Yeah.
those things. For me, all of the shit I do falls under simplification. It took me
Mm,
time to figure that out. When you're new, though, I mean, Abby, you and I can both agree with this. When
for
you're
sure.
new, you may not know what the fuck that thing is.
Yeah, and that's
It
okay. You know what?
and
Just
that's what
just
you and
try a
I can
bunch of
help you.
shit. Like
Yes,
you just do
exactly.
a bunch of
Well,
things.
and
And then
let your
it
clients
takes time
lead.
to get there. Yeah.
Yeah. And your
Yeah.
clients give you information over time. Like you know how I figured out
Yeah.
simplification? I kept hearing the word out of my clients' face holes. They kept saying, I just wish this was more simple. I just want to simplify this. I just want my back end my back end systems to be more simple. I just want this process to be more simple. And I'm like, they keep using the word. So now I
Yeah.
am the simplification queen. That's the word I
Yeah.
use, because what I do is I take all this big complex puzzle that our clients are in the middle of, and they can't fucking see what's
No.
going on around them because they're in the middle. We are on the outside looking in, and we're like, oh, this is disconnected here. This is disconnected here. These things don't talk to each other. Beep, beep, beep. We help them plug those gaps, right?
Exactly.
So when you have somebody who is newer, it is harder to do that. But once we've been around a while, and that's why I love you
Mhm.
asking this question, because I'm assuming, that you work with people who've been around a little while.
Yeah.
Do you help them? Do you go in and help them extract, like, find the common theme?
Yeah.
Also, by, like, when they do the brain dumps, you're like, okay, I see this, and this is what you do, but it all falls under this
Yeah.
umbrella. So how do you help them find that umbrella?
I have a membership and we have a bunch of journal prompts, so all of my clients get access to that. And so
Hmm.
journaling is usually a really good way to kind of like just even like brain dump your like
Yeah.
what you think. And one of the questions that I think helps people the most is, if you were not going to make any money,
I
what
was
would you
just gonna
still be
say that.
showing up for? Like what,
Oh
like
my
if you literally made zero
I was gonna say,
dollars
if you're a millionaire and you just didn't give a shit about getting paid, what would you still do? That's the
Yeah.
question. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We have so much in common, Abby.
Yeah, we
That's why
do, absolutely. That's why
I knew that's why I had to bring you on. But yeah, no, I asked this same question, just a different form. But, like, what
yeah.
would you do if you were not getting paid to do it? And so
Yeah, it's so
is that
important because
yeah.
that's really like that usually helps create a little more clarity. And
Oh
then
yeah.
I don't like to brain dump ideas until we have clarity on that message, the
Yes.
messaging first, because like
Yes.
then once you brain dump ideas, we're like, okay, we can connect it back to this message in this way and
Oh
this way and
yeah.
this way and this way. And it makes it a
Yeah.
lot easier to just like have that like line that goes all the way through your content, and it makes it so you
Mm-hmm.
can talk about a bunch of different things and it all
And
makes sense.
boy, yes. And doesn't it make creating content so much easier?
So fucking easy.
Oh
I
my
literally am
God.
creating a post about this today, like literally. And it's just because I'm like, it doesn't have to be so hard, and we all make it so
No.
complicated.
Yes.
And that's why, yeah, again, like why I'm so passionate about helping women through this, because I'm just like, we are all doing too fucking much. Like it
Yes.
doesn't have to
Yes.
be so
No.
hard. You're like what you want to be known for and like the impact you want to have in the world, like is enough. And
Yes.
that like is all you need to worry about is just like
Yes.
reconnecting with that message. And like when you reconnect with
So
that
good.
message in your content, it helps in your business too. It helps you with coming up with offer ideas. It helps you feel inspired to show
Oh my
up, to
God.
be in your
Yes.
business. Like for
Yes.
me, it just like ignited a whole other like part of life and business that I didn't know was
Yeah, no,
there.
and you know what? It's funny because I went through that shift last year. Like, I'd been around a little while, and I'm like, I'm missing a through line.
Yeah,
I'm missing a through line, and I couldn't figure out what the through line was, because I help people, like, create a cult brand where their followers come to their page. The
yeah,
first thing they want to see is, what's this person doing? And that can mean different things to different people. It doesn't,
absolutely.
everybody's cult brand feel or look is different.
Hmm.
Boundaries, simplification, or systems that do the heavy lifting for you, on the back end so that you're not, all stuck in admin hell. And there's a couple other things that fall under the umbrella. But what I realized was when I help my clients do this, their business becomes simplified. And
Mhm.
because it's more simple, they can have one of two things. They can have more room to take on more clients if they want to,
Yeah.
or they can have a fucking life. They can get their life back. Because in the first couple of years, you and I both
Yeah.
know we're like bootstrapping that shit. We are
Absolutely.
scrappy and gritty. And then there comes a
Working
point.
all
Yeah.
the time.
But there comes a point where you get to not do all that shit anymore. And I think too many women get stuck thinking they have to stay there
Yeah.
because that becomes comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, this kind of hard 24/7 365 is comfortable. I've been doing it for 2 years and you're like, I'm about to give you half your time back. Do you want it? Cuz
Yeah.
I can do that. You want to cut your work week in half? Come
Literally.
hang with me. Come
Yeah.
hang with you. Like making content now, all I do is think, how does this story that my client is going through or something I've done, how does it all tie back to simplification? The
Mhm.
moment I had that light bulb, my dude,
Literally. It's
content
so
has been
wild.
flowing so easily
Yes.
now because
It
my
comes
messaging.
out.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
have a ton more ideas and then you know how to make it all make sense and it's
Yeah.
just it's so freeing, I think.
Yes.
Like it
Oh my
felt
God.
like I
Yes.
was giving myself permission to just like, yeah,
Yeah.
be free in my content and it
Yes.
still made sense. Like
Yes.
who
Yes.
doesn't want that? I
Right. Right.
It just
Right.
made such a difference for me and yeah, so and I know it has, it has for clients as well and it's just
Sure.
it's so I love seeing that like light bulb moment of like, oh,
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think that a lot of us, what we love getting paid for is those client light bulb moments.
Absolutely.
The moments where
Yeah.
it clicks and you literally see it in their eyes and their body, their shoulders that have been up to their fucking ears and their
Yeah.
asshole that's been so clenched tightly. All of a sudden it ain't clenched so tight. They're like,
Literally.
oh, I'm a little bit more relaxed here. It's like when you have more room and you have more space and you have more room in your calendar and in your brain, everything gets to be easier. I'm not
Way
saying it's
easier.
simple, but it
No.
gets to be so much more easy.
Yeah.
And I think that as women, we think that if it has to be hard
Yep.
in order for it to be actually successful.
Yeah.
And
It
I
doesn't
don't
have to be.
subscribe to that shit at all.
Uh-uh.
I don't think you
No,
do
because like,
either.
why would I want to create more work for myself? Like, yeah, the goal is to like work less and make
Yes.
more. So it's like you have
Yes.
to find, yeah, the systems, the
Yeah.
simplification in order to actually make that happen.
Right.
And a lot of times that does come like you should kind of start with content there
Yes.
because if you're wasting all this time on content, you're not able to do the needle moving. Oh my
The
God, I
moving
can't talk
needle,
to
the needle
I can't
moving things. Yes,
I
the
can't
needle
talk today.
moving stuff. That's
The needle
okay.
moving stuff in your business because
Yeah.
you're wasting hours on content. And it's like it doesn't have to be that way. You
Yes.
can like yeah, you
Yeah.
can have it both ways. And I like to start with content because it's going to take that mental and time load off of your
Right.
plate once you've got
Right.
that dialed in and it takes time, it's not
Right.
like something that's just a quick fix, but
Right.
it's just yeah, that's why I work with all my clients for at least 3 months because it's
Yes.
just like in my membership and my one-on-one content coaching because
Yes.
it's just like
Same.
you can't not like you have to give yourself that time for it to
Yep.
work. And for
Hmm.
me, another big piece of what I do is helping people express themselves like their personality more because
I
that's
was just
already
going to bring that up.
something yeah.
Just you already led to it, so keep going, and then I'll ask my question.
But yeah, because that's something I already did with brand and web design, and I do copy for my websites. And that is one of the biggest pieces for people is their copy. And, carrying that over to social media, it's very similar in like
Hmm.
not knowing how to express what they want to express and feeling like they can't show up a certain way or they can't say
Right.
something or they
Hmm.
can't swear or whatever. And I'm just, yeah, I definitely don't subscribe to that bullshit exactly.
Nope.
And it's like,
Nope.
you can literally be yourself, and that's enough. And like that in itself is one of the first steps you have to take as a woman to realize that like you can like show up the way you want, but you do have to do the inner work in order to feel comfortable doing that. And that's why it's a big part of what I do as well.
Yeah, no, you have to go inside and stop seeking external validation. Stop thinking that what you need is outside of you when it comes to who you are as a human. Strategy, that may not be something you can do because you're too deep in your business or whatever. But when it comes to, we hear this term all the time. I've been talking about this a lot lately, is be you. And if you do not know exactly who that is yet, that is part of the reason why your business may be at a sticky point. Yeah. Like, I'm just going to be straight up. Like, my business was at a sticky point because I had my ADHD diagnosis. And then I was like, who the fuck am I now? What is this going to do to my business? You know, like I've been talking about this a lot lately. I just literally had this crisis of the soul. And then slowly but surely started figuring out what voices were mine and what weren't, what things in my mind and my beliefs belonged to me, and what were things that society or other people in my life or family or whatever had put there, or even I had put there, that were bullshit.
Literally.
Just a big old flaming pile of garbage, you know? And when I did that and set that part of me free, like you said, you did a reel recently that I loved. I think it was yesterday, where you talked about putting more of you into your shit, you know, into your brand.
Yeah.
That is everything. You are the brand. If you look at big brands right now, big company brands, when you see their reels or their content, you don't know necessarily it's a company anymore, because they're using things that are personality of their company through humans.
Yeah.
So that is everything. And when you bring that, nobody can duplicate it, because they aren't you.
Yeah.
They may take the titles of your offers, or they may try to do something the way you do it, but they cannot copy your essence. Period.
Yeah. And who you are is a big reason why someone chooses your business. Like, there are a million brand and web designers, content coaches, whatever out there. Like, a big reason people work with me is because of who I am. And so you have to share what you are in order for people to like feel like they know you, they can trust you, they build that connection with you before they talk to you. And so much of that is done through your online presence. And so that's why you can't hold that back, even though we all feel like we have to, because we feel like we have to be, you know, quote, professional or like whatever bullshit. And I'm just like, who said this is how we had to do it? And it's definitely not how you do it in 2025. I'll tell you that much.
No.
You have to be personal. You have to be like real as fuck, or it's just, you're just going to get lost in the sauce. It's just the way it is, unfortunately. Right. It's because there's so many people in the online business space now, especially now. And so it's just like, you can't, that bland template bullshit just ain't gonna cut it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. No, and it's so funny, because I think that we think that in order to have a successful business, we need to fit in. And that's exactly what makes you invisible. That's the exact thing that makes you invisible.
Literally.
Right?
Yeah.
So when
trying to do something somebody else has done, or follow the way they're doing it, or whatever their strategy is. That's why I'm always like, no, you're the strategy.
There's no one size fits all.
You get to be it. And we make it work around your life and your business and your goals and your passions. And like, that's what really matters. And that's what's going to make it so that it's something you can do sustainably, because if you're following someone else's bullshit, like, you're not going to be able to be like, keep it up long term. And if you don't know what you're really here for, you're also not going to be able to keep it up long term when things get fucking hard, because they will. It's just a matter of time. It's not if, it's when.
It's when. Yes.
And so it's like, connecting with those things are so important for actually being able to keep going, like, in your business, but also like showing up online long term.
Right. And if you're doing heavy lifting in your business and you're doing everything on the back end, and you're holding up a personality that isn't yours, you're going to face plant said
Yeah.
with so much love, you
Literally.
will fall on your face.
Yes.
So you may as well look. There are no rules. We're all making this shit up as we go along. So you
Yes.
may as well just be you and have the fucking business that you want. If that means you want 1 million followers and you want to have that bigger kind of business, go for it. If you want something that's a little smaller and more boutique, but you want to be higher ticket, go for it. If you want to be low ticket to the masses, go for it. Because if you want to be less hands-on, go for it. If you want to be more hands-on, go for it. I learned this one the hard way. I shamed myself. This is so weird. I just like talked about this yesterday. I shamed myself for being a person who likes to deep dive. I like somebody to hand me everything about their business and go, look at it all. And I'll be like, yes, give it to me. Let me
Yes.
see it. Because my brain from the outside looking in can connect gaps when it comes to things that may be missing from your content that you just can't figure out. Like things as simple as calls to action. Tell people what the
Literally.
next step is.
I know.
What
I'm
is
like,
the
how
next
fucking hard is that? So many people
It's so
skip it.
hard.
And they do it. And it's same on their websites, same on social media. I'm like,
Yeah, you
people
wanna
are
stay in the friend
fucking
zone.
lazy.
Yep.
Tell them what to do.
Right.
And they're more likely to do it. Like
Right.
it's just like,
That's part of being in the business friend zone is when you
Yes.
teach and you educate and you do all that stuff.
Yeah.
My friend Colleen said it best. She goes, you are priming them to hire somebody else.
Yes, you're just providing
You
the
are-
free value. You're just
You
like
got it.
there as a fluffer, and it's just like that's not like you know what I mean. Like
I do. For those of you who don't know what a fluffer is, just kidding. Go look it up.
Yeah, go look it up.
Yeah.
Or
You
watch
know.
New Girl. There is an episode where they talk about
You know,
it.
just look it up in the Urban Dictionary. That's all you
Yeah.
need. It'll help you. It has
But
to do
like
with
that's
porn,
literally
but,
what
you
it
know.
is.
But it is.
Yes.
It is.
But that's
You
what
are
it
a
is.
fluffer.
And it's like then people aren't ever gonna take like you have to
So fucking good right now. Oh my God, you called it a fluffer.
But
Your
it's-
content is a fluffer.
I mean
It's
it
great,
just
Abby.
is sometimes
It's true.
like if you're
It's true.
you know, and it's just
It's the reality.
and it's because we are so afraid to sell. And I'm like, you are a fucking business. Like literally
You better learn how to do that. Yeah.
you have to sell and you can't be ashamed of selling. And like if
No.
people that means that some people aren't gonna watch those stories, like whatever. But
Right.
like you
But they're
still
not your
have to
people
show
anyway.
up and sell. Yes, then they
Yeah.
don't want to be in your world. And it's not like it's the only thing you're doing all of the time.
Right.
Like you are providing value. And you know what? Even when you provide value, that shit can still sell. You can still have a
Yes.
call to action that takes them
Yes.
someplace else. Like
Right.
to go to a freebie, which then sells to them. Like you can, it's all interconnected.
Yep.
And whenever you get over yourself and stop like being afraid
Seriously.
of selling,
It's so
like,
true.
I mean, I had to do it too. You know, it's all
Yep.
said with love because
yeah,
this
it's
is
said-
all like
it's said from
we've all
experience.
experienced this.
We've all used the word maybe
yes.
or if. Stop
Yeah.
using if. Stop
Oh my
using
God.
maybe.
Stop asking questions first and then answering them. I see that on websites all the time and they're like, are you ready for this? And I'm like,
no.
tell
you
them
are.
you're going to do it.
Yes, not
I'm
are
going
you
to
ready?
do this for you. Like,
Yeah, and
are
not
you
are you-
ready?
Not are
Maybe,
you
but
ready?
like
How about we switch it around to you are ready? for.
literally.
Because
Yes,
what happens
and
when
I'm
somebody
the answer.
yeah, and what happens what people don't get, and this is conversion right here. This is what we're talking about. When the person who needs you, because they're already looking for you.
Yes.
Sales is an invitation. It is not yucky or gross. I mean, it
No.
can be if you're doing it all car salesman-y, that's fine.
Yeah,
But
so you're
if
cold
you are
DMing
doing
people
it,
that you've never talked to before,
Yeah.
definitely don't do
don't
those
cold
things.
DM. No, Blech, I hate that shit so hard.
Yeah,
like
me
if that's
too.
a dude thing. That's
a
a
complete
that's a
ignore.
penis thing.
I block
That's a
those people.
penis
I'm just
thing.
like, yeah, it is.
If you got a penis, well, now I know there are some women who are more in their masculine when they do sales, but
Yes.
like, come on, knock that shit off, right? But
Yeah.
you know, when you are talking to people and you know that you have something, like I do it in a way that's fun. I'll be like, well, you know, if you ever need help with that, I know a chick. You know,
and that's me.
Right. Like that's more of what I do, like subtly, just as I'm chatting with people. But I will
Yeah.
straight up, like yesterday in my stories, I was like, Look, I had a client tell me they got more out of time with me 90 minutes than in a year with a different coach. That's why you fucking hire me. Do you know
Mhm.
how long it took me to be able to be confident and comfortable enough to say that? Since
Yep.
I started in 2019 in the online arena and
Mhm.
only over, I would say, the last year. Guess when my business has finally started to have the growth that I have been wanting in the last year?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a correlation, but what sales is only being clear about their next step. That's
Yeah.
it. You're not saying
Yeah.
buy my shit. You're saying
No.
grab this
You're
freebie here. Your next step is to get
yes.
clarity is grab my Feral CEO business audit.
Yeah.
Grab this free resource. Grab that free resource. You know what else that does for people with ADHD? It can lower the rejection sensitivity shit that we go through
Yeah.
because we have things being sold on the backside for us through automation.
Mhm.
And they're getting to see who we are as
Yep.
people. They're getting to know us. If you put my open rate, people don't believe me, but my open rate on my email is 50 to 60%.
That's incredible.
The average is what, 29? Something
I
like
would
that.
say, yeah, something anywhere between 20 and 30 is usually
Yeah.
like, I would say like average.
It's
Yeah.
always been that way though. You know why?
Yes.
Because I just talk like I'm talking to you now. I have clients all the time who will say, God, I fucking loved your email because it's just like sitting and having a conversation with you. I'm like,
Yes.
that's right. But
And
do
that's
I
what's so
sell in there?
important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I sell in there
Of course.
because I have a tagline that talks about what I do. And every
Mhm.
couple of emails, I'll say,
Yeah.
why aren't you in the fucking sisterhood? Get your ass inside. I
Literally.
can help you with simplification. I will do emails that are all about maybe a client, something that I did with a client every few. But I'm also talking about who I am. And that's the thing, what you're talking about, the online presence. I think that that's one of the things that makes certain people stand out and
Mhm.
others not, is
Absolutely.
that we are willing to share the personal stories, to share
Yeah.
the client stories, to show, not just fucking tell. We
Yes.
are living, walking, breathing testimonials. We have living, walking, breathing testimonials in
Yeah.
our clients. And don't be afraid when you're hiring somebody to ask for like references. Like, we don't
Mhm.
hire somebody when they're doing a job and just be like, these references on your application are great. I'm not going
Yeah.
to check those. No,
Yeah.
talk to people who've worked with them. But at the end of the
Absolutely. You
day,
want that proof, but that's
yes, but the personality is so key. And the one thing that
yes.
you have also said that you and I talked about, I think, on your podcast is the fact that if you aren't who you are when somebody walks up to you on the street or is on a call with you or is on your social media or is on a phone call with you, whatever, if you're not the same human being in all of those places, that is the inner work that needs to be done first.
Absolutely. Because that's gonna be
Because
a no for that client because that's
yes,
so
or if it's a
confusing to
yes,
them.
yeah. Or if it's a yes, they buy one of your offers and you are presenting as one thing
Yeah.
forward facing online and they get
Right.
behind the scenes and you are different.
Yeah.
Different. Like that's
It's
like
so
if I went on
confusing
my
for
social
people.
media and never swore.
Yeah.
And then my clients came in and got this feral foul mouth sailor and they'd be
Like,
like, ah!
literally.
They'd
Yes.
literally be like, give
Because
me
you're
my money
attracting
back.
a different type of client that way,
Yes.
which, like,
Yes.
there's no right or wrong. It's just about what's right for you and what is
Right.
aligned with the type of people you want to work with
Right.
and allowing that to come through. But yeah, like exactly like you said, like if you're, and I struggle with that, like I used to have people tell me all the
Yeah.
time, oh my gosh, you're like so fun and energetic. And like, I didn't think you had like, were this
Right.
cool. Like, and I was
Yes.
like, okay, well, like, that's not good because
What
I
the
am
fuck?
pretty dope and I want that to like be online so people know that about
Yeah.
me because like,
Yep.
especially like for brand and web design, like that is such a long-term experience. And even, content
Yes.
coaching, anything like coaching in general,
Yes.
like that's an intimate workspace. Like you want to
Mm-hmm.
feel good about the person you're spending that amount of time with.
Speak it.
And that's why they need to see that ahead of time and
Yes.
get a feel
Yeah.
for you. And that's why like creating, like even if you hate it, but like creating like talking videos and like you said, like writing the way you speak and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that, that actually helps them get a sense for who you are. And I will
Yes.
say
And
starting my podcast was one of the things that helped me the most
yes.
in actually being like, okay, like
Oh, now
I've
I get it.
Yes. Okay. This is where I was holding back. This is where I can like speak more freely, because in my podcast, I do speak freely, especially like
Yes.
in interviews or by myself, whatever. Like
Right.
I just let it flow. And I
Right.
don't think as business owners, we let it flow enough. We're
Yes.
so in our heads. We're so
Trying
overthinking.
to
Like,
curate everything.
yes, and it's like you can do that after if you need to, but like you also need to like get back into your like connect back to your inner magic. And
Yes.
we spend so much of our times taking ourselves out of that and trying to be something else than we actually are.
Well, and I think a lot of people who own businesses are neurodivergent in some way, shape, or form.
Oh
And
yeah,
I think
lots
that
of them.
because for a lifetime we've been told you're too much or you're too this or you're too
Yeah.
that. We've watered ourselves down and believed that that's what we needed to do. Then you come into the online arena and everyone's like, be yourself, let it all
Yeah.
fly. And you're like,
Like the
that's
fuck
not
does that
safe.
mean?
Your nervous system is like, fuck off.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't do that. They're going to say this. They're going to judge me.
Mhm.
Whoever these they or them are,
Yeah.
whatever. There's a big room of like, oh, they're gonna think who they are. I don't know. But
Me neither.
once you let go of they're gonna think, guess what? People are gonna think you could say the sky is blue and they'd be like, brah, it's red.
Yeah.
We know it's blue, but you could say that. So you may as well just let yourself be free. And I can say this from the process of going through that. It's not because I'm like, oh, you need to do this. It's because I was so heavily masked up. And
Mhm.
so like I go listen to podcast episodes from like, let's say 2 years ago, and I just want to laugh. I'm like, who is that lady? But I'm like,
Yes.
that lady got me to here.
Yeah.
And that freedom and having a good coach, good mentor, somebody to walk you across that bridge when you
It's
feel like you need to get out of
so
your comfort
important.
zone and you fucking can't, it helps so much. Like,
Yeah.
I can't, I know I'm a coach. Okay. Like I get it. I'm a coach and I'm saying you should have a business coach as somebody
No,
who
but
is a
I mean,
coach.
even
But
for
let me tell
me,
you
you
what.
need a coach. I have always
Yes.
prioritized investing in business coaching, because it
Yes.
is the one thing that is actually going to help you move the
Yes.
needle,
Think
because
about,
you need
yeah.
that external point of view. I especially like when I'm coming up with idea or like I'm trying to process something, I need to do it out loud. And like
Yes.
you have to have someone to reflect back to you what it is that you're good at, maybe where things are unclear. Like you have to
Uh-huh.
get that external point of view is so
Yep.
helpful. And so
Yes.
that's what, yes, coaching is big part. The other part is definitely the mindset and embodiment. Like that's
Yes.
why like you have to do the inner work and
Walk
you
the
have to do
talk
the
or it,
embodiment work. It's not just about mindset. It's not just about journaling. You actually have to like feel that shit in your body and
like
let
your
go
success
of
is
what
inevitable.
was there before.
Yeah.
And it takes all of that to like genuinely then be able to feel ready to show up the way we've been talking about showing up this whole time. Like you
I
can't just like
literally couldn't
do it
agree
off,
more. I
like
couldn't agree more if I tried because it's something that when I or you or I walk somebody through this process and you start to see them let it out. Oh, that gives me such a lady boner. I'll be watching their content or their stories and I'll see a client of mine who's been so buttoned up because they think that's how they're supposed to be and they just let something fly and I'm over here at my desk like, yes! Like
Yeah.
I'm excited because what that really is women liberating themselves and setting
Yes.
themselves free at the end of the day. Yes, it's content. Yes, it's our business, but what is it really? It's taking all this shit that life has put on us and going, no, like
No, thank
hard
you.
pass. No, thank you. Yeah. And all the people who've been like, you're too this, you're too that. It's like, my life coach, who I jokingly call her my life coach, Elise Myers, she's like, I'm too much, go find less. Yeah, go find
Literally.
less. If I'm too much, go find less. And
That's
I will
fine.
often post like Jack Black videos on my Instagram and I'll be like, if you want to coach with this energy, I'm your bitch. Because I think he's like my long lost brother. But that's the energy I bring. And I had that big moment, which I think I talked to you about on your podcast, where one of my clients came to my Instagram after another client of mine was like, she is fucking hilarious. She is wild. She's fierce. She's all these things. And then my client came to my Instagram and she saw it and she's like, that's not what I'm seeing here, but I will trust my friend that she trusted my friend Sarah. Andy trusted Sarah enough to go, Sarah doesn't bullshit. So then Andy hired me and she saw what she was talking about. And we were on a call. This was the moment was some coaching and this moment were the thing that shifted my fucking trajectory of my business. Like straight up, aside from my ADHD diagnosis, this was it. It was my client, Andy. Thank you, Andy, said to me, the things that people love about you, the things we love about you, I don't see it out there as much in your stories or your content. And I'm like, oh. And then she told me the story about coming to my, and that's when I brought out the cake photos. That's when I just started using the word feral as fuck. That's when I let the swear words just keep flying.
Yeah.
And when I really let the rest, and I think we're taught, whether you have ADHD or not, whether you're neurodivergent or not, I think women are just taught to mask. We are taught you are not supposed to cuss. You are not supposed, you got to be ladylike, be seen and not heard. Ladylike, I can't even talk today. Be seen and not heard. We've been taught, you know, some people with super religious backgrounds in certain ways have been taught you should be seen and not heard, or just growing up.
Just your family, the way you grow up. Like, I mean, I feel like a lot of business owners are also like perfectionist people pleasers.
Yes.
And you have
Jesus
to like
Christ.
get the fuck over it. Cause I know I will. I mean, you know,
Samesies.
and that's partially why like I'm able to like make these changes in my business is because I've made those changes in my personal life. Like like my siblings and family are like, I don't even know what to do with you, because like I used to be the one who was like always, you know, giving in, being flexible, keeping the peace between my family, and like, and then I was like, fuck that, and stopped doing it. And now they're like, I don't know how to be around you. You have an opinion? And I'm like, yeah, I fucking do.
Yeah,
but like,
exactly.
You know, and I feel like so many of us, especially women, but like, especially like if you grew up in that like people pleaser, perfectionist sort of, like you have to like do the work to let that shit go. And it's so hard because especially as a business owner, like you want everything to be perfect, but if you are waiting for it to be perfect, it's never going to be ready. And it's just like, because you have perfection to just fucking do it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you nailed it. Perfection is the procrastination hider. Yes. You want to procrastinate on anything? Tell yourself it needs to be perfect, because perfect doesn't exist. It's not even a real thing. So if perfection's not a real thing, you're never going to get there. What does that mean? It means you're procrastinating, or you're scared, or have fear, or you're uncomfortable in some way. And, you know, business is going to make you uncomfortable. At some point along the way, it is going to make
I think
you
it every day.
Yeah,
I'm always like, if you want to be uncomfortable all the time, go be a business owner. Like,
but we love that. We love jumping out of the airplane and fucking sewing the parachute on the way down. We're like, I made it to the land and I didn't bust my ass, you know, woohoo, I'm the winner. But another thing is that business owners, women in business, we are tenacious. Like my business was not working for a long ass time and I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. And when I finally just put on the blinders and stopped looking at everybody else around me and started taking off the training wheels and going, what do I want to put out there in the world? And how do I want to help make the impact that I want to make? Because literally what we do financially and impact wise, there is no ceiling. That is what entrepreneurs love. We know there's no ceiling. Some people want to make 6 figures. Their dream is $100,000. That's fucking awesome. Let's help them do that. Others, it's $1 million. Okay, that's great. That's going to take a lot more work. And there's very few, there are fewer paths to get there, but it's there if you want to work for it. So you literally can have whatever you want. The difference though, between women like you and I, Abby, and some others, or where others may be, is believing it.
Yeah. And that's the hardest part. It's literally the hardest part.
Right. Betting on yourself is hard.
Fucking hard.
I have,
thinking you're good enough to do it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a concept.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so funny because I think that that's the one thing that I finally saw too, is that like, I am tenacious as hell. I will not give up. I will dig my heels in and I'll be like, no, there has to be a freaking way. I know it. And why do you think I've been around for as long as I have? Is because I just refuse to give up on myself. And I think so often that's one of the biggest reasons why people have success. Is they just didn't give up on their bigger, they didn't give up on that bigger thing that they see in their mind, in their mind's eye. you
Yeah.
know?
But you
You're
have to
like,
know
"No."
what that is and, like,
Mhm.
reconnect with it often because
Often.
it's going to change, you know, like,
Oh, yeah.
what your
Sure.
vision is like, I used to always think I was gonna have a team and, like, have this collaborative work environment, and I
Oh
tried a
my
team.
god.
I don't
Yeah.
have a team anymore, and
Uh-huh.
my
Right.
like, my vision for my business and my future is so different now than it was 3 years
Right.
ago, and,
But
like,
that's
there's that's
beautiful.
great. That's because I've changed as a person, and,
Yeah.
like, I've grown and stepped into more, and now I'm calling myself up for even more. But it's like, yeah,
Right.
you
And
have
you had
to,
the balls to try it. You
yeah,
had the balls to go, "I'm gonna hire a team and see what that's like," and go, no, thank you." Like, I am a very high, I have low cost. Like, I don't have a lot of expenses in my business. And so anytime I'm gonna add an expense in my business, I have to, like, really know it's going to be a thing that will move the needle. I have
yeah,
to
for
know
sure.
it. And it's not because I'm cheap. It's because I like having a simple, lean business where I'm not paying 87 people to do 87 different things. I'm strategically hiring people who are in their genius where I am not.
Yeah.
And that is supportive of us. So somebody like you, Abby, who can help extract that messaging, that real messaging, not the messaging
Mhm.
with all the jargon and the bullshit and this container. Ugh, that shit makes me
Yeah,
want to vomit. It's like,
I know.
be your fucking self. And if you don't know who that is, it's time to dig in. You know, like,
Yeah.
I didn't get here. I am 52 as of a couple days ago. Do you know how long it took me? 52 years. Right? If you are
Yeah.
anywhere even younger than me and you're there, you're ahead.
Yeah,
You're ahead.
literally.
Like, it's beautiful. It's a
Mhm.
beautiful thing to set
Yeah.
yourself free. It's
Yes, and
scary.
it's never too late to set yourself free.
No.
And I think for me, like, that example was set by my mom because my parents got divorced after 30 years together,
Shit.
and she was
And she's like,
in
"Nope."
yeah, I mean, there were
Oh
a
my
lot of
god, that's
she
amazing.
should have left sooner, but, like,
Mhm.
they, like, waited till my sister and I were in high school. We were the last ones. We were
Sure.
about to graduate, like, it worked out. But, like, that always, like, set an example for me in being like, "Okay, like, it doesn't matter how long you've spent time in something or how comfortable you are, like, you can always make a change to go after what is best for you and actually, like, value yourself first." And it's so
Yeah.
hard, like, as women. And, like, I've been divorced because I,
Same.
was a people pleaser, and thought I was doing what I was supposed to do for society, and, like, I'd been with my ex for, like, a long time and knew it wasn't
Yeah.
right, but still did it anyway because you think you're supposed to. And because my mom had done that, and, like, then I recognized what was going on, like, I was like, yeah, no, I can't fucking live like this for my
Right.
entire life.
Right.
Like, I only
Right.
get to do this one time. Like, and it's such a powerful thing, and it's scary and it's hard, and
Yes.
but it's so fucking important to
Yeah.
value yourself first.
Well, and I think one of the worst words in the English Function Dictionary is should. You
Yes.
should do this. You should do that. We should all over ourselves. Just should everywhere. Who
Yeah.
made that? Who said that?
Literally. Who made any of these
Literally.
rules? Y'all are following all these rules from who? Like, I've never understood that. And I'm just like, I mean, we've all been there. We've all done that. I've
Oh,
done it. But
sure.
then
Sure.
I'm like, wait, but who says I have to do it that way? Because if you look it up online, like, there's actually 8 million different ways you're supposed to do social
Oh my
media. And
God.
it's like,
Well, that's why I love
what the fuck?
that's why I love when other coaches or other mentors or whatever, and this is no shade to anybody, and I'm just
Yeah.
saying that as a caveat, even though there might be a little shade. Stop telling people there's one way to do things. Stop it. Fucking
Yes.
stop it.
Yeah,
There
because there's
you may have
not.
a method, you may have a way that
Yeah,
you do
it's
things, and that's
your
fine.
method,
But make
but it's
sure
not the
it's
only one.
right, but make sure that it's also got some malleability built in. I have a
Mhm.
method. It's the anti-framework playbook, but you know what it
Yeah,
is? It's essential business education that you then take and go break the rules. Learn the
yep,
rules so that you can break them effectively. Like,
yep,
learn them. That doesn't
yeah,
mean you have to follow them. It means you get to take those rules and do the opposite even. That will
literally.
also make you stand out. Like,
Yes.
these are the things, like, in business, It's so funny. I did this fucking prompt. I'm gonna have to give you this prompt. It's one of those God prompts for Chat GPT, and it said like, "What are some things you would do if you were like a billionaire in XYZ industry that would get you like really known?" And it gave like 10 different things, and I start cackling because I do most of them. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, sweet!" But if I would have read that list a year and a half ago, I would have been like, "Womp womp," right? So
Mhm.
it really is about making yourself one of one
Yeah. Yes. And
because
that's
you already
okay. Like,
are.
that's good. Yeah. You're just
Yeah.
acknowledging it and you're owning it and you're stepping into it. And like, that's why I'm always like, it's okay for like your content strategy or your business strategy to feel good. Like to
Yes.
align with your life and your business and to be what
Yes.
you want it to be
Right.
and not like, cause the trying, the forcing, like we've done all that nonsense.
Oh my
Like
God. Yes.
we don't
Yes.
need it anymore. That's trash.
Right. There was a point, Abby, you ready to like throw up? There was a point where I was making 17 pieces of content a week. 1 7
Oh,
reels.
17?
Yes. And I look
Hell
back at that and
no.
I'm like, what was I thinking? I was thinking more is more. What happens? That waters shit down,
Oh
right?
yeah,
So
it
I'd
does.
rather have 4 pieces of content a week that are super potent and create a grid that's like an employee for me that walks people through convincing themselves to work with me before they ever talk to me than putting out just a bunch of random garbage. And that really
Yeah,
is a huge part of the strategy is having your
absolutely.
content be an employee for you. Let it show your
Literally,
personality.
your
Let it
entire online
show what you're there
presence
for. All
should
of it.
do all the work
All of
for
that.
you. Like I
Mhm.
always have like by the time somebody gets on a call with me, like I have like a 90% plus conversion rate because
Yeah.
it's not about if they're
Same.
going to, they're just double checking, like
Right.
they're just taking that final check, getting, then they're getting the proposal and stuff. But
Yeah.
like
And I
by
want
the
them on
time
that
people
call with
actually talk,
me.
absolutely, I do too, because
Yeah.
I also want to make sure that I want to work with you. But like,
Boom.
like it's also about what
Snaps.
I want. But like,
Yes, of
and the
course.
reason that is the way it is because my online presence shows all of those things. It tells them who I am. They get a feel for my
Yes.
personality. They understand how I can
Hmm.
solve their problem, because that's
Right.
really all that sales is. Because
Right.
the reason people are coming to find you is because they have a problem. So if you can
Yes.
position yourself as the answer, that's really all you have to do. You don't have to
Right.
make it feel like, again, like what we were talking about earlier, like you're just positioning yourself as the solution. You're not
Right.
like trying to sell them on something they don't need, because they
Right.
wouldn't be there if they didn't need it. So it's just like,
Right.
if your online presence can do all of that for you, then sales is really easy because you don't really have to do
Yes.
anything on the call.
Yeah, and it's so funny because people are like, "Well, talking head reels, they don't really go viral." I'm like, "Yeah, no.
Who
Talking
cares?
head reels are for the people who want to make sure you're not regurgitating shit from Chat GBT in your carousels and you don't know what you're fucking talking about." I
Yes. And
literally
they
just
want
did a
to,
carousel about this. They want to
yes.
know that you're a person.
Yeah, and what it would,
You're
and they want to
human.
like hear the way you talk about things and the way you,
Right.
and like that gives them a feel for how they might feel on a call with you, or what it
Yes.
would be like to talk again, like work with you and talk with you and have
Mhm.
conversations, and like all of that is
Right.
so important. So that's why, again, like yeah, who gives a fuck? Like first off, most people aren't going to go viral. Get over it. Like
Yep.
that, you just can't. Like that's not,
Nope.
again, that's not
And
your reason for
viral
creating content.
and
And
viral is
viral's not
getting
all it's
for
cut out to be either.
no,
I've
for
talked to a
sure
lot
not.
of people on
No.
my podcast. I've had several people on who have gone viral, and they're like, yeah, my account's like basically doesn't work anymore because it's
Yep.
all people who aren't
Exactly.
engaging, or like just because it says 15,000 followers doesn't mean that they're like making money off of
No.
them, because
No. No.
followers does not
Cuz
equal income at
right.
all.
There are people
Yeah,
who have 500 followers making bank. There are people who have
absolutely.
100,000 followers making jack shit. And I
Literally.
know from the backside of that, knowing that people can have all different size audience. The thing that has to do with is nuance, right? You have a coach who
Mhm.
understands, okay, you're not converting or you don't have this isn't happening, you're not making the level of income. It's like, okay, well, there's certain kinds of content you aren't putting out there to show your personality or to a lot of it again goes back to calls to action, Abby. It's like
It does.
just tell them their next step. You're not saying hire me tomorrow. You're saying here's your next step. you know? And for me, since I'm
Literally.
super high touch, my next step is come talk to me in the DMs. Like, let's talk about it. I'm going to ask you questions. And then if we want to hop on a phone call, I'm going to tell you the next step is to get on a phone call. And then I'm going to ask you more questions on the phone call because I want to make sure I can help you. And if I can't help you, I have a massive network. And maybe I have a person who can help you because it isn't my specialty. Because I'm not going to ask you to come to a plastic surgeon for heart surgery. If I'm not the right person for you to fix it, I am going to send you to the heart surgeon instead.
Absolutely.
But I also know I'm this kind of surgeon and I can do these really specific things for you. And what they are is help you simplify your shit.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
So,
and you have to know that.
Yeah,
In order
man,
to be able to share it.
this conversation made me so pumped. And you don't know, I
Yes.
needed this talk today. I needed this discussion today too. You
I
know, it's
love
like we
it.
all have these moments in our business where we're
Yes.
just like, why am I doing this to myself? Like moments of not doubt, because I'm not in a place of doubt at all. It's more just like holding in things that need to come out sometimes.
Absolutely.
I had a moment like that last night, and then come into this conversation today. It couldn't be
It's
more
so
perfect.
good.
So
Yes, that's why again, like it's so important to talk to other people because I felt that way.
Yes.
Like this spring was been really difficult for my business. It has for lots because of economy, politics, whatever you want to get into. But like, and so I don't know. I've probably done at least 20 interviews with people on my podcast, which before then I hadn't done any. And it literally like reignited my soul because it's just like, it's like, so it's like, okay, y'all, like maybe have some conversations with people too, because then that helps you get clarity. Also, like go on an Instagram live with somebody else and like
please.
just, you know, get out there. It helps you with exposure, but really what it's about is helping you reconnect with what you want to be doing and making sure that you feel good about that. And then you realize as you're talking, like the clarity comes out too.
Yes.
So it's just, I love this conversation.
If you've had this, it's so good. And if the other thing is, if you have been sticking with the people who are in your audience right now or in your followers right now, because that's safe and comfortable. This was me. Because that's safe and comfortable.
It's everybody.
And then you expose yourself to other audiences, other people, other people's people. Because I personally believe, like, that's why I have somebody like Abby come on here. I'm not worried about it. I want her to get business off of this. Are you kidding me? Like that's important, but that's called collaboration. Like I walk my walk. I think there's enough to go around for everybody because where the saturation is mediocrity.
Literally.
When you are elevated and you understand more than just the surface level concepts, like you understand the depth and you understand nuance, like someone like Abby, like myself do, we're going to have business coming out of our ears if we just keep talking about that shit we know and getting on other people's podcasts or having them. It introduces us to other people's audiences. And that is a great way to let other clients who don't know you. But man, that freaked me out because I was just in this comfort zone with certain people around me. And I'm like,
it freaks most people out.
Yeah. The only way I'm going to get out of this zone that I was in was to get out of the small zone I was in and let myself open up that world, because my business mentor, she's like, you're just afraid of being seen. And I'm like, fuck off. And also you're right. You know,
I mean, that's most people, you know, because it's not like, I know for a fact that anybody can talk about what they do, like if they want to, like if they choose to. And that was me too. Last year, I was like, okay, I'm stuck in my little bubble. Like I need to do something different. Like I want to talk to other people. I did Instagram lives twice a month, every month for at least a year. And
that's amazing.
What that showed me was like, first of all, like that was partially why I was like, okay, I can do a fucking podcast because I'm good at this shit. And like, this is natural for me. And also it grew my audience in a natural way that also brings in people who aren't just there for the one free piece of content that you gave them. They're there because they made a connection with you and they trust whoever you were talking to from their audience. And it helps you expand your network in a whole different way.
Yes. 1,000,000%. And it's so funny because I hit 150 podcast episodes a couple episodes ago. Well, it's several now by the time this one gets out.
Fun.
But I hit 150 episodes and I still don't have this like massive listenership. But here's what I do have. People who fucking listen. every
Literally.
week who message me or write me or say that they liked this or they got this out of it or that out of it. And I'm just like, oh, this is why I'm doing this, because like some people want these huge, massive podcasts and to monetize them. I don't know, maybe one day I'll want that. But right now it's just this vehicle to speak to people from my own voice.
Yeah.
So that they can convince themselves that I'm the right fit for them. I'm not here to convince you I'm the right fit for you.
No,
That's your job. Your friend will do that.
I literally last February, I was looking for a mastermind, wasn't sure like where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do.
Right,
and like I found a coach, was interested in her. And then I
Right.
listened to her podcast to get a feel for who she was. And then I like chatted with her in the DMs and I invested and I was in it for a year. Like
That's
it was
amazing.
just
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it was such an easier yes, because you have that opportunity to get to know them and
Exactly.
feel like you know their vibe and like
Right.
yeah. So just
And we're not,
put it
and
out
I'm
there.
not here to gatekeep. Like,
No.
well, and that's the thing is that I've never been a person to gatekeep. I will not put you behind a paywall to get good advice from me, because what I know is that people pay for nuance, people pay for strategy, people pay for the fact that they need simplification. And I'm not saying, oh, you're going to pay me, I want your money. No, what they are paying you for as a service provider of any kind is the nuance and expertise they do not have yet that they need, period.
Yes,
So
and applying it to their business specifically.
So creating
because
free
you
resources.
can get a course, free resources, courses, whatever. Like those are going to collect dust, because the hardest part is the application. Like you can learn those tools, but actually knowing how to apply it, and especially applying anything to your own business, is so fucking hard to do on your own. And like that is that's what you're hiring someone else for.
Right. And your visibility igniters, so your free resources of any kind, whether that's a newsletter or that's a podcast or whatever, those things are the appetizer. They're the appetizer.
Yeah.
They want to see, do they want to have the main course? Fucking let them. Like, I don't care if you get a free resource from me or you are in my highest ticket, highest proximity offer. The coaching you're going to get is the same.
Literally.
The same. Yeah. I'm going to give you everything, because what I also know is what you invest in me for is that nuance and looking at your business and how can we connect things that are not connecting for you because you can't see it because you're too close. The example I use all the time right now is you put your nose on a mirror, you can't see your whole fucking face, right? It's
Literally.
just like this, right?
Yeah.
I can see your whole face because I'm way back here, right? So that really, at the end of the day, when you think of Simone Biles, when you think of anybody who's an athlete or whatever, they have coaches galore who watch them and give them, right? So this is the same in business. Like big, huge businesses, companies, they have consultants, they have people that they bring in. It's like, this is not a weird or odd thing. This is part of your business evolution.
Part of what you should do, because it's gonna help you. Yes, because you can't see what's like you said, you can't. It's so hard to see, and like that's why I find like when I work with people on like copy and websites and stuff like that, it's just because you're so in your own head and your own business, and you're so stuck in being in it, you can't see it clearly. It's so I mean, it's just natural. It is what it is, and that's why. Coaches invest in coaches, because they know that like you need.
Are you kidding me?
Support.
I was in a master class and there was a little bit of a VIP, and I did the VIP with this coach because I just fucking love her. And she does something very specific. And she went to my Instagram and pointed something out so fast. And I'm like, how did I miss that?
Yeah. Even for
I know
that's
exactly
like the thing
how
is,
I missed it.
Yes, because you're in it. And so that's like, even if you're like a content coach like me or a systems coach or simplification, like it's still hard for you to do the work you do for other people is often hardest to do for yourself.
Yes,
because
ma'am.
All the same. Like it's just you still need clarity.
If you wanted to leave everybody with one thing about online presence, since that is your umbrella, what would you tell them? What would you say? Little nugget of wisdom.
Just be yourself and know that that's enough, because that is like the hardest part. Like it's not just enough to be who you are online, it's to know that that's enough and that is what is going to magnetize people to you. You don't have to try to be something you're not, because that's often what's not going to lead where you want to go.
Yeah, that's often the thing that turns people off, is they can't quite put a finger on it. They know something's off, but they can't put a finger on it.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Well, Abby, thank you for coming on today. This was a great conversation. I'm so glad that you came. So thank you very much. And thank you everyone for listening. And we will see you next time. Say bye, Abby.
Bye. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I'll put all of Abby's contact information, how to reach her, in the show notes so that you can reach out to her if you have any questions about her services or what she does, or her mentorship for content, or being yourself as much as possible in your online presence. So thank you for being here. Holy shit, right? And with that, I am going to end today's episode. If you would like to book a free clarity call with me, my contact info is in the show notes. They're 30 minutes. I ask you some questions about your business so that I am clear about what you need and if I can help you. And then we go from there. I'm not a sit on your head kind of person. We're all fucking grown-ups here. So I give you your options based on your needs, and then everything else is in your hand. If you love this episode, tell your business sisterhood. Send me a note by carrier pigeon saying what you loved. Hit me up in the DMs and say hi. I am probably one of the most approachable people you will ever meet. And one of my core values is deep connection. So I really love hearing from you. Until next week, I see you. I love you. And I am fucking rooting for you always. Stay feral. Bye. Oh, hey, you're still here. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. Be sure to check out the show notes for all the ways to follow me. And of course, my goal is to find and help as many women with ADHD get away from the 9-to-5 grind, because it's just not designed for our neurospicy brilliance, and there are other ways to do life. So by subscribing, sharing, and giving a 5-star review, it helps other women find this podcast as well. And if there's an episode you really love, please feel free to take a screenshot and share it on your social and tag me in it so that I can thank you personally. Until next time, you spicy brained unicorn. Bye.